Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt with OddsJam, and today's video I'll just be doing a PointsBet review. So PointsBet just recently was launched in Virginia, which is where I'm located. So I get to take advantage of all the new user promos, all that stuff. And since I've been doing that, I wanted to make sure I gave a review, an honest review, since my initial thoughts of using PointsBet. So the $2,000 free bet is one of their promos that I'll talk into detail a little bit later, but so I just wanted to say that I haven't actually placed a bet using PointsBet, but I've looked a little bit at the layout and I've reviewed all the promos that they have, and I actually really like it. It's already up there with DraftKings and FanDuel as my two favorites, and BetMGM. The layout itself just visually looks good. It's easy to navigate. It doesn't look cheap, or that it was cheaply designed. It's sleek, it looks new age, it looks fun, and it's also easy to navigate. So it has all the sports up here, has all the featured bets here, and you can filter it just based on what sport you want. They have, this name a bet feature, which is cool. And they also have everything live. But what I wanted to highlight are all the promos. So it's easy to get to as well. You just click the menu, click promos. It's not hard to find. And I also like how they have the little radio buttons up here that you can filter which one specifically you want to look at or which sport you want to look at. But I'll go in order. So the sign-up offer is what I'm going to be doing today. So you can get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. And the 2 bets are in 2 different categories. So the first one is just this is what you're used to. Fixed odds. It's you get odds plus 100. If your bet wins, you get the winnings. If it loses, you obviously lose what you put in, and that's it. They also have a feature which is unique to PointsBet called points betting wager, and I'll explain that in more detail later. It's kind of confusing, but the logic of it is you place a bet, and the more your bet wins, the more your winnings are. It's a multiplier. And the more your bet loses is the more money you lose. So, and you can choose what multiplier, how much you want it to go up. It's kind of confusing. I'll need to show you the math later, but essentially the logic is if I put $10 on the over 54 in this Chiefs game, right? So the over under is 54. If the total hits 55, so I would have won that bet by 1 point. So my winnings, my $10 will get multiplied by just 1. So at that point, I would make $10. But if 56 points are scored, so it goes 2 points over, I'll double my winnings, and it'll go 10 to 20, all the way up. I think the minimum they do, I think, is 50 times. So if I place a $10 bet and somehow the points on the over 54 and somehow 105 points are scored, whatever, I would win 50 times my bet. But the opposite is true too. So if I take the over 54 and the Chiefs win 3-0, that bet would have lost by 51 points. I would have lost my $10 multiplied by 50. So I would have lost $1,500. So it's a fun way to take advantage of a spread or total or prop or whatever line market you want to use if you think it's way off. So for people like me, I'm working on my own model. If I find a situation where let's say the Travis Kelce receptions is set at 4.5 and my model has him at 10. Obviously the 6 times multiplier isn't as crazy as that 51 I was mentioning before, but it's an easy way to take advantage if you think a line is way off. That's all. They have some money back ones, like you get a $10 free bet every Sunday Night Football. You just have to place it live. They also offer money in free bets based on how much you wager in the month of December. So if you wager $10,000 total, you'll get an additional $1,000 in free bets, and it's tiered. So the first 500, you get 50. First 1,000, you get an additional 50, and up from there, as you can see in this table. They also have odds boosts. So the ones tonight for the Thursday Night Football game obviously are unique. So this Chris Sims one, Edwards-Helaire over 55 rushing yards. They're saying he had 100 in week 3. You can get that at plus 110. They also have Travis Kelce, 50-plus receiving yards and a touchdown. Kelce has not quite had the season that we're used to seeing. My fantasy team definitely didn't like that. He was on my team. But they have this promo They also have plus 135 Patrick Mahomes to have more passing yards than Herbert. They have a bunch of odds boosts. I haven't had a ton of experience since it just became legal in Virginia, but at first glance, at least for tonight's game and tonight's odds boost, they seem to have some good ones. So I'll definitely be looking for those moving forward. This early payout is cool. Basically, how it works is it's specific to the Premier League. But if you bet, so like today, Chelsea played Everton. I bet on Chelsea to win. If at any point they lead by 2 goals, then I get my cash winnings within 30 minutes of that at any point. So they could still lose the game and I would still get my winnings, which is cool. And then they have a bunch of different site features. Same game parlays. They do have live streaming and visualizations if you want to follow a game live. You can do a partial cash out. They have parlay boosters. They also have different clubs, so Diamond Club, Platinum Club. You can refer a friend. You can name a bet, which is kind of cool. So basically, you email the customer service, say, hey, I want this bet, and they'll say if they add it. They also, no rollover requirements, nothing like that. And then they also have rewards. So every bet you place, you get some sort of reward. It's typical for some sportsbooks. Not all of them have it. PointsBet does. This good karma payout is also pretty cool. Basically, how it works is if you think you got a bad beat, or the ref made a bad call, or you just had an unlucky bet, you can tweet PointsBet with the hashtag Karma Committee, and they might give you whatever you lost in a free bet, which is cool. Sports betting should be fun. It shouldn't be robotic like you're working for Roger Goodell in the NFL. So I like how they do stuff like that. And I also like how they have it, like I said, by sport. So if I want to look at just the football ones, it's here, soccer, basketball, all that stuff. I like how they have it easily laid out here. And as far as odds go, obviously I haven't looked at them a ton, but their odds seem to be fine. So like this positive EV page, if they have the best odds, they'll show up here. You see them show up a decent amount, or not a decent amount, but a little bit, not never, which is fun, which is good. You don't want to see them consistently have the worst odds. So for this Suns Wizards game, you see they have the best odds there. They have the best odds on this Seth Curry tied with a bunch of other sports books. So they're not on here a ton actually, so maybe their odds are a little bit worse. But the benefit of using OddsJam is that you only get the best odds, so you'll know when PointsBet does, and you won't have to try and line shop because you can just look at the OddsJam page. But so what I'm going to be doing now is placing my 2 bets. Unfortunately, I'll just say now my first one is going to be the Chiefs -3. That's going to be my fixed odds one. I'd like to place it now, but I have this stupid location error on my computer. So I'll post screenshots of my bet slips when I post the video, and I'll also show that right now you can see my balance is at the 2,000. It'll be down to 0, and I'll post a screenshot of that as well. But I did a video previewing the game yesterday, and I chose the Chiefs in the under. I'm more confident in my Chiefs play since that video. Unfortunately, the under seems to not have aged well. I got it at 52.5, and it's gone up to 54 on PointsBet. So people have kind of been ripping towards the over. There's some defensive players that have been called out for the Chiefs, so I get it. Excuse me, I'm not as confident in that one as I am with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are going to be my fixed odds bet -3. And like I said, I'll post a screenshot. The next one is a little bit unique, so you have to see how the calculator works. I'm going to take the Justin Herbert passing yards for a couple reasons. One, it's high risk, high reward, but with how good he's playing, I don't think he's going to hit too much lower than the 293 mark. So I'm going to take the over. How it works is, so you can see here, I just want to place $10, and you can change the multiplier based on how much you want. So if I left it at 200, if he went 200 yards under 293, then I would be out this $2,000, right? But if he goes 200 over, then I make the max amount. So I can only do it at 1,500. So I'm going to be doing, I think the minimum is 50. So I'm just going to do the minimum, and I'm going to do my 30 on it. So this will be what the screenshot you see places. Obviously, like I said, I wish I could do it. So and it's a little bit confusing. You kind of have to play with it, but I like how you can mess around with the multiplier. So he just needs to get above 50 yards above 293, and the max bet will hit. And obviously there's the opposite scenario where he hits 50 yards below 293, and then I'm on the hook for that amount. But I don't expect that to happen. I think there's a higher chance that he goes for 300 plus than he goes for less than 250. Like if you look at Justin Herbert's stats, one, he's getting his receivers back, thankfully. But so the Giants, he only had 275, but I mean, they were dominating the Giants that whole game, so he didn't really need to throw a lot. If you look at what he did against the Chiefs, he had 281, which is surprising, but he did have 4 touchdowns, so he had success moving the ball in the air. Just didn't end up being for a ton of yards. He had 300 in his first 2 games, over 330, almost 400 against the Browns. Against the Eagles, he had over 350, almost 400 against the Steelers. So he puts up a ton of yards. He's gone under 250 only 4 times. The weird game against the Vikings. The Patriots, again, we got Patriots and Ravens, he got dominated. The Raiders game was weird. They couldn't move the ball at all in the first half, and then they came out firing in the second half. And since the Chargers have had their bye week, he's been playing a lot better. So I'm confident in the over 293. That is what the screenshot will show that I placed. So that'll be my 2,000 in free bets. Chiefs -3 and Justin Herbert over 293 passing yards. And that's going to be the video today. So like I said, just an honest review of that's interesting. This betting stats is cool. Honest review of PointsBet. So far, only good things to say about it. I know the last video I did was on Bet Rivers, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Big fan of PointsBet, so I'll be monitoring it moving forward, seeing how I'm doing. If the bets I'm placing are winning, if they consistently have good odds good odds boosts, and go from there. But so that's going to be the video. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear feedback on Twitter at Modi_sports. You can email me, Matthew@oddsjam.com, or you can just comment on the video what you thought. I'll make sure to check those as well. But that's all I got for you guys. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.